Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, there are a lot of rumors floating around out there about a lot of record players. Well, this one's really made by that. Well, that's a knockoff of this. Well, you know what? I love squelching rumors. I love confirming rumors if they're real. I love getting to the truth, getting down to the real truth. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Crosley T400 and the Audio-Technica LP-60X to see if they're the same turntable. Now this design is similar and common across various brands. So I want to really find out, is this really the same record player? You're not going to want to miss this.
This is Record-ology.
So here is the LP-60X from Audio-Technica, and here is the T400 from Crosley. So many folks claim that this is the same record player, and actually there's a lot of record players on the market that look very similar. Why do they think this? Primarily because of these three buttons right here. As you can see, they both have buttons in that same area. But is this record player really the same record player? Is it a knockoff? Is it, what is it exactly? Let's take a look at some of the details and really compare them and see if there is two record players here, two different designs, or if they are in fact the same record player. Okay, let's start back here with the hinges. As you can see, the shape of the hinge on the Crosley and the Audio-Technica aren't even similar. They're not even similar. So this is definitely a difference between the two of them. And while we're back here, look at the shape of the dust cover compared to the shape of the dust cover on the Audio-Technica here. This is squared off. It's a lower profile, and this is much more rounded. I feel like this is a thicker plastic dust cover. So right off the bat, those are two differences. And while we're at it, what's this guy right here? Well, this is our 45 spacer for the Crosley. Let's take a look at the Audio-Technica. Now, as you can see, the Crosley's is in this raised area right here, and the spacer just sits right in there. The reason why they put these little insets right here is so that you can push down and then it helps you pull up the spacer. But anyway, that's what this one looks like. This is the Crosley. Let's take a look at the Audio-Technica. Yeah, it's not even similar. The inset's in the back, and it doesn't even look anywhere close to being the same. How about the counterbalance? Here's the Audio-Technica. As you can see, it's got sort of this rectangular piece here, this rounded piece back here, and it sits on this raised area right here. So pay attention to the design. There's the cueing area as well. But take a look at the design here. We're going to compare this to the Crosley T400 and see if it's the same. Okay, yeah, I don't think there's anything even similar about these two. Completely different design. This raised area is a different shape. Definitely not the same Tonearm design. How about the head shell? Is the head shell the same? Okay, here's the head shell for the Crosley. That is a white plastic head shell. And I don't particularly like that being plastic like that because it's got these screws. But from what I understand, this is a cartridge that you're not supposed to replace. You can replace the needle, but it's got this Audio-Technica cartridge, and it's not even similar. A lot of the feedback on the LP-60, this is an entry-level Audio-Technica cartridge, but it's not replaceable. So that's one downside, is that you are stuck with that. It's not a bad place to be stuck, but you can't upgrade it. But do you really need to? I don't think so. Okay, let's take a look at the platters. So both have a felt platter mat. The Crosley one is pretty stiff, and the Audio-Technica one is a little bit more flexible. Both very similar. This platter is black, this one is silver, but this is a plastic platter. And there is a circlip right there holding it on. It's belt driven. They're both belt driven. Back here is where the motor pulley is. You'll notice that is as far away from the pickup device, the cartridge, as possible. And that goes for both of them. Back there is the motor pulley, here is the pickup. But this is a nice heavy-duty metal platter. And you can actually remove this one, just like that. And that is a heavy-duty metal platter. Alright, you know what, you guys? I'm going to take this one off too, because I want to look at both under the hood. So using a flat head, we're going to pop off the circlip, which is, you'll see this on a lot of entry-level record players actually. And it basically clamps on the spindle to keep the platter from falling off if it's moved upside down. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop this off. It is a plastic platter. This is disappointing, you guys. I wish they would have made this metal, honestly. It would have been a lot better. And the belt. Okay, so there is the undersides. Let's take a look at them side by side. Okay, there's the mechanism for the Audio-Technica. So pay close attention to the design elements here. So everything you see here, the way it's laid out, the way it's designed, the shape of things. Take a look at all that. Okay, now let's flip over to the Crosley. And as you can see, on this element, they are identical. They've got the exact same shaped parts. Elements is a gray plastic versus white. But as you can see, at this level, these are identical turntables. So the components are definitely shared to a certain extent. It's hard to say if they're both coming out of the same factory. If they are, it would probably be hand-pinned turntables. It's hard to say if that's the case. I do not know. You'll notice they're not even the same. The plinth isn't even the same height. The plinth on this is way higher than this. So it's not a simple build. It's not like this has a different skin on it than this one. There are various components that are very different on this turntable versus this. But there are some similarities. Like look at the shape of the plastic here, the shape of these cutouts. They're all identical. Under the hood, these turntables are very, very similar. So what about the circuitry? How can we figure that out without taking them apart? We'll check this out. Okay, so how on earth can we tell the circuitry without opening it up? It's actually pretty easy. Here's a pro tip. If you look at the back of a turntable or any equipment, the position of the connections and jacks will correspond to the circuitry design on the inside. If they're identical, then it's likely that they use the same circuit board with the same circuit board layout. If they're different, it's probably likely that they're using something different. Okay, so on the back of the Audio-Technica, we have an audio out. Instead of RCA, they use a mini jack, an 1/8" jack that you can cable to RCA left and right. You got the preamp switch over here, and you've got the power way over here. On the Crosley, you've got the preamp right next to the audio outputs, and then the power is a lot closer. So based on this, it's pretty clear that the circuitry is likely different on the inside. Also, one more look at these hinges in the back. As you can see, very different. Look at the dust covers, very different. Look at the plinth, very different. By the way, I do like the plinth on the Audio-Technica better. The type of plastic that they use for the plinth on the Crosley feels kind of like a toy, so it's kind of disappointing in that regard. Okay, so why do people think that these are the same turntable? It really comes down to where these three buttons are on the three different units. And yes, they are very similar, as well as this button over here. But besides that, they actually don't have that much similarity in design, although I do believe they have some shared components, and I believe the mechanism is actually a shared device as well. So in the end, I do think this is probably coming out of the same factory, although I know that Crosley, and I believe Audio-Technica as well, does work with their build partners in China to make sure that they have a unique build design, and they do a lot of their design and engineering work here in the US. So I would say that they are different turntables with shared components, obviously targeted to the same market. Great entry-level turntables. I do like the Audio-Technica a little bit better. I feel like the build quality is a little bit higher. The biggest thing is that metal platter on the Audio-Technica versus the cheap plastic one on the Crosley. But how do they sound? Let's go ahead and reference our original sound test from the original review videos.
One, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around.
I don't wanna leave her now. You know I believe in how.
Okay guys, there you go. Now we know the truth. If you want to get your hands on either one of these cool record players, check out the link in the description below for a great price. I guarantee it. But in the meantime guys, happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Record-ology. Stay tuned for a new show every Sunday and Wednesday. Don't forget to hit subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter.